In the days of the prophet Elisha, there was a great famine in the land of Israel. The fields lay barren, the rivers ran low, and the people struggled to find food. Despite the dire conditions, Elisha continued his ministry, traveling and teaching the sons of the prophets, a group of devoted disciples who sought to learn the ways of God. One day, Elisha returned to Gilgal, where a group of these young prophets was gathered. The famine had hit them hard, but their faith remained strong. They looked to Elisha for guidance and sustenance. Seeing their need, Elisha instructed his servant, "Set on the great pot, and seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets." The servant quickly obeyed, setting up a large pot over a fire and filling it with water. Knowing the scarcity of ingredients, Elisha sent some of the young prophets into the fields to gather whatever herbs they could find. As they searched the parched landscape, they stumbled upon a wild vine bearing an abundance of wild gourds. Believing they had found a valuable addition to their meal, they gathered the gourds and brought them back to the camp. The young men eagerly shredded the wild gourds into the pot of boiling water, unaware of the danger they were introducing. The stew, now filled with the wild gourds, began to simmer, and the aroma of food brought hope to the hungry prophets. As the meal was served, the prophets gathered around the pot, filling their bowls with the hot stew. For a moment, there was a sense of relief and gratitude as they began to eat. But soon, their expressions changed from satisfaction to horror. One of the prophets cried out, "O thou man of God, there is death in the pot!" Realizing the wild gourds were poisonous, fear and panic spread through the group. Elisha, hearing their cries, rose with a calm authority. He called for meal to be brought to him. Taking the meal in his hands, Elisha cast it into the pot, his faith unwavering. He then instructed, "Pour out for the people, that they may eat." The prophets hesitated but trusted Elisha. They took the stew once more and began to eat. This time, there was no harm. The poisonous stew had been miraculously purified. The young men who had moments before faced death were now nourished and relieved. They marveled at the power of God working through Elisha. This miracle was a profound demonstration of God's provision and care, even in the most desperate circumstances. It showed that with God's intervention, what was once harmful could be turned into a source of life and sustenance. Elisha's unwavering faith and obedience served as a powerful example to the sons of the prophets. They continued to learn from him, their faith deepened by witnessing such divine intervention. As they gathered around the fire that night, the prophets gave thanks to God. The once deadly stew had become a symbol of God's miraculous power and his enduring care for his people. Through Elisha's actions, the young prophets were reminded that God sees their needs and responds with compassion and power. The famine continued, but their faith was strengthened, knowing that God was with them, providing and protecting in ways beyond their understanding. The story of Elisha and the poisoned stew is a testament to God's miraculous provision in times of need. It illustrates how faith and obedience can transform even the most perilous situations into opportunities for God's glory to be revealed. In this simple yet profound miracle, we see that God is ever present, attentive to the cries of his people, and capable of turning death into life. Elisha's faithfulness and God's mighty power are forever remembered through this extraordinary event. Let this story be a reminder that no matter how desperate our circumstances may seem, God's power and provision are always at work. Through faith, miracles can happen, and what seems impossible can become a testament to God's infinite love and care.